Hi, if you're watching this video, you're probably thinking about moving here to Charlotte, North Carolina. So today I'm going to go over some of the pros and cons of living here in Charlotte. Stick around. Hey everyone, I'm Shane Gordon with eXp Realty. I've been living in Charlotte for 16 years now. I absolutely love the city, but just like any city, there are some ups and downs. So today I'm going to go over the pros and cons of living in Charlotte. So pro number one is going to be the weather. So we actually get 4 good seasons here. They're pretty balanced out. Starting with the spring, you're going to have temperatures 50s to 70s. Sometimes you might hit the 80s at some points, sometimes a little bit lower than the 50s, but that's your average. Summertime does get a little bit warmer here down in the south. Average temperature is going to be 80s to 90s, and July, August, you're really pushing towards those 90-degree temperatures pretty steadily. As far as fall, once we get around foliage season, which is around October, your temperatures are right around 50s and 60s. You might have those warmer days on occasion, as well as a couple cold snaps. And then winters, if you're coming from the north like I did, you're going to love the winters down here because it rarely gets down below 30 degrees. It does happen occasionally. That's usually end of January through February you get those cold snaps, but great seasonal weather throughout the whole year. So pro number 2 is going to be the accessibility of a number of professional and minor league sporting events. We have the NFL team, Carolina Panthers. NBA team is the Charlotte Hornets. We have NASCAR, which is not too far from uptown Charlotte, up in Concord, North Carolina. Probably about 30 minutes away is where the Speedway is. And then in uptown is the NASCAR Hall of Fame. So that's a pretty cool place to go visit. In 2022, we will be getting our first MLS soccer team, the Charlotte FC. So can't wait to see some good soccer in town, being a former soccer player myself. And then as far as minor league teams, we do have the Charlotte Knights, which are based out of uptown Charlotte. And we even have a hockey team down here in the south with the Charlotte Checkers. They're just down the road a few minutes outside of the city at Bojangles Arena. So lots to do around here, very close to uptown, so you can go grab a drink, grab a bite to eat before and after the game. Lots of options for you on sports days. Pro number 3 is going to be the great location that we're in. We're actually very centrally located in the state. We're only about 2 to 2.5 hours from the mountains, which is great. You can go hiking, you can go skiing in the wintertime. There's wineries all over the place up that way if you want to go for a drive and visit different wineries. And the Biltmore Estate's up there, which is a beautiful place to go visit as well. And then we're only about 3 to 3.5 hours from the beach. So as you can see, we're very centrally located. Beaches that I love are going to be in Wilmington, Wrightsville Beach. Myrtle Beach has a lot to do there as well. And there's a number of other beaches up and down the coast which we're not too far away from. Pro number 4, Charlotte is one of the top 10 fastest growing cities in the country. And with this growth creates lots of opportunities job-wise, school-wise, everything. We are home to a number of corporate headquarters, and we continue to grow with more day in and day out. Charlotte is actually the second largest financial district in the whole country, only behind New York City. So lots of opportunities here for you if you are in that industry. One thing you'll notice when comparing Charlotte to other cities, if you're thinking about moving here, is the cost of living is very affordable compared to other areas. Pro number 5 is going to be the abundance of things to do in the area. If you enjoy the arts and culture, we have ballet, we have theater, and we have plenty of museums, most of which are in uptown Charlotte. If you're more of an outdoorsy kind of person, such as myself, we have a bunch of greenways that are spread throughout the city and the suburbs. And in these areas, this is where you go biking, running, walking, you take your pets for a walk, just to enjoy the outdoors. If you're someone who enjoys the water and going fishing or just boating or just being by the water, we actually have 2 large lakes right here in the Charlotte area, not more than 30 minutes from uptown. The first one I would mention would be Lake Norman, which is in North Carolina, the Huntersville area, and the other one is Lake Wiley, which is, again, 30 minutes south of the Charlotte area. Again, for those outdoors folks, another great place to go check out would be the U.S. Whitewater Center. Again, not more than 30 minutes from uptown Charlotte. Great place to go. They have mountain biking trails, they have zip lining, they have ropes courses, they got a climbing wall, they even access to the Catawba River where people go kayaking, canoeing, and those sort of things. So lots to do over there. Spend a day. They even have some music events on occasion that you can go there and listen and just relax. So as you can see, Charlotte's a great place to live, but just like any other city throughout the country, there are pluses and minuses to everywhere. So now I'm just going to go ahead and give you a few of my cons for living here in Charlotte. Con number one, I would say, would be the traffic. Not everywhere, but during rush hour traffic, if you happen to be on a small part of 485 or on 77, there is quite a bit of traffic through both of those highways during that time frame. But if you're comparing to larger cities like in California or New York, even Boston, Chicago, and Atlanta, which isn't too far from here, traffic here is not quite as busy as that, but it can get troublesome in some times of the day. So con number two, I'd say, in Charlotte would be the way the roads change names. So you could actually be on Tyvola Road, which turns into Fairview Road, which turns into Sardis Road. So there's a number of roads that keep on doing that. So when you first move here, it did for me anyway, when you first move here, it can get quite confusing, especially if you're trying to receive directions from somebody and then you end up here, or if you're trying to give directions to somebody and you're not quite sure how to explain how the roads change names. So I'd say con number three would be public transportation, especially if you live out in the suburbs. If you're living out in the suburbs, not much availability to buses. You can drive to a bus stop and park in the parking lot nearby, or we just got a new light rail system in the past few years. We're always expanding on that, so that's a great thing. But right now it just runs from end of South Boulevard all the way up to the UNCC Charlotte campus. So, and that goes straight through uptown Charlotte. So that's great. So you can either park in the South Boulevard location or up in the UNC Charlotte, and you can take the train into the city. So if you're working in the city, that could cut your parking costs down for you for the month. Con number four, again, is if you live in the suburbs, driving anywhere could take you 20-30 minutes. Really depends on where you live in the suburbs. So a lot of the museums and activities like that, sporting events, they're all in the uptown Charlotte area for the most part. There's plenty to do outside of it, obviously, like golf or hiking or outdoor activities. But for the most part, a lot of the entertainment is going to be in uptown Charlotte. So if you're living in the suburbs, it could take you 20-30 minutes. Things are a little bit more spread out when you get outside the city. So con number five is going to be allergy seasons. So typically in the spring and fall is when allergies really hit hard. We have a lot of beautiful trees here, the oak trees, the pine trees. We have a number of trees that are flowering, like the crepe myrtle and your dogwood trees. So a lot of beautiful foliage, but with that foliage does come pollen, and it can affect people who do have allergies quite a bit. You know, you can ask my wife about that one. So hopefully this video was helpful to you. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below or give me a call or text. Again, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell so you can get notifications for the next video that comes out. So we actually have a great number of So pro number two is going to be accessibility to... Right? I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next time.